Rotherham is a town steeped in regret. Everyone, it seems, is sorry. Sorry about the sheer scale of abuse, and sorry too about the enormity of the failings which allowed it to continue. But for the victims and their families, the question is, will it go beyond being sorry?
Sorry's not good enough. It's not good enough. Should have acted all these years ago and stopped it, nipped it in the bud.
Vanessa's daughter Claire was just 12 when she began being abused by a group of Asian men. Vanessa put her into local authority care, but it just got worse.
But when you went to social services, presumably, and said to them, look, this is what's happening, what was their response to you?
They were looking at me. They weren't looking at what I was telling them. They were looking at me being bad parenting.
And how many times did you go for help?
Loads of times. Loads. And phone calls, hundreds.
When you say sorry isn't enough, what do you want the authorities involved to do, the police, the council?
To step up, but these people that were in authority and all that, like when all this was going off and still going off, they need to lose their jobs. They need to step down.
Yesterday, as the damning report was published, the council leader Roger Stone did resign. But what of the many others involved? So what has happened to the senior staff who, the report says, ignored or chose not to see what was happening to the children in their care? We asked the Borough Council and they told us the management who were in place throughout the period have moved on. But they also said, we don't know where. Much of the focus today has been on this man, now South Yorkshire's Police and Crime Commissioner. But for 5 years, from 2005, he was the head of Children's Services on Rotherham Borough Council.
What I'm incredibly sorry about is that so many young people have been let down by the various agencies.
But agencies, we're talking about individuals here, and you were one of those individuals.
Well, what the report clearly identifies is that there was systemic failure by Rotherham Council, by the NHS and by South Yorkshire Police.
Yes, but forgive me, sorry, but they're cliches, aren't they, about systemic failures and services. Individuals have to take responsibility. You were head of Children's Services.
Of course I did take responsibility. I stood down in 2010.
After 5 years?
Well, the service was rated as a good service until 2009.
Should you resign today? Many victims think you should.
What the report very clearly says is that, and this is recognised in the report very explicitly, is that at every stage that a report was brought to my attention, appropriate action, appropriate decisions were made.
By early evening, the pressure on Mr. Wright grew, with this from the Home Secretary.
Well, Sean Wright obviously has had an involvement in this, both as his role as a councillor and obviously he's now the Police and Crime Commissioner. It's not my job as Home Secretary to hire and fire Police and Crime Commissioners. The whole point of them is that they're elected by the people, so ultimately it is a choice for the electorate. But I believe his own party, the Labour Party, have called for him to resign. I think he has real questions to answer, and I think in these circumstances he should heed those calls.
For the 1,400 victims and their families, yesterday's report is long overdue. But many are grateful simply because it confirms two brutal truths they've known all along. Too many in authority were terrified of tackling this crime because of the ethnicity of the perpetrators. But also too many in authority simply didn't care enough about the children who were victims.
Why do you think they didn't care enough?
Because they thought they were dirty little slags and they deserved everything that they got. End of the day, these were children, they were only babies.
Tonight, Police Commissioner Sean Wright continues to insist he will not resign. But the focus on him and others who were in authority over 16 sorry years in Rotherham is unlikely to go away.